Happy Financial Friday, YouTube. Happy Financial Friday the 13th. Uh-oh. My name is Joseph Warren, and today I'm going to be talking about what happens to your money after you die. I'll also be answering the question about what Pablo Picasso, Abraham Lincoln, and Jimi Hendrix all have in common. Yes, they were all geniuses in their own way. They all created things that had a lasting impact on the world. They were all rich, correct? But sadly, another thing that they have in common is that they all died without leaving a will that said how they wanted to distribute their assets and their valuables to their family. This obviously caused a lot of fighting, a lot of tension, and a lot of heartache and grief for their heirs and for their family. In Jimi Hendrix's case, it took more than 30 years for his estate to be distributed and settled. That means he died in 1970, and it wasn't until 2002 until his money was passed along to his heir. Same with, or similar with Pablo Picasso. It took 6 years and cost $30 million to distribute his estate, which included a lot of his artwork, gold, real estate, to his family members. So how can you prevent this from happening? You may not have Pablo Picasso money, you may not have Jimi Hendrix money yet, but you can stop this from happening in a very simple way. Today, I'm going to be talking about what those are. There are 4 types of documents, and I'm going to give you basically estate planning 101, how to handle your money and your wishes after you pass away. Number 1 is a will. A will is a written document that states how you want your valuables, your assets, your money to be passed along after you die. And it goes through the court. So basically, it's written instructions to the courts, and you can say, for instance, I want this glass mug to be given to my mother, and I want this watermelon cup to go to my sister, and so on and so forth. Of course, for more valuable things. So you could do that with your car, anything you have that has value, and then it's not ambiguous. There's less likely to be fighting between family members over who will get what after you pass away, which is extremely common. When it comes to money and people dying, there's just so many emotions that come up, and it can really tear a family apart. It's very sad. Another way to do it is with a trust. This costs a lot more, or a little bit more, and what a trust does is it allows you to basically bypass the courts and just have a written document that'll pass money in the way that you say. It also gives you a lot more options. So you can basically limit how much money people will get or put certain rules on how they can get the money. Sometimes you'll see that in the movies, like they'll put like a stipulation that's pretty crazy, like, oh, you have to go to law school or else you can't get any of the money, things like that. I think that was actually in a Adam Sandler movie or something. Number 3, now this doesn't have to do with what you die, but it's a very important document, and it's called a medical power of attorney. And what this is you choose someone who can make medical decisions on your behalf if you're not able to do so on your own. So obviously that's a huge power to have, and you want to choose someone who you really, really trust. Not someone who's going to be petty or make decisions that you wouldn't trust their decisions. Someone who you trust and you know would do what's best for you if you couldn't make decisions on your own. Number 4 is financial power of attorney, and that's someone who can make financial decisions on your behalf if you can't do so on your own. So this type of planning is a type of planning that not a lot of people like to think about. It's a little bit dark. That's why I chose it for Friday the 13th, but it's so important. There have been huge news. We've seen it before. We've seen Terry Schiavo. We've seen families being torn apart, basically famous families being torn apart because they're fighting over who's going to get what in an inheritance. And it's just really sad. So you can prevent this very easily with these documents. You know, it's very simple. You can either get these documents done on LegalZoom or a website like that, or you can go to an estate planning attorney. I usually advise going to an estate planning attorney rather than LegalZoom, but if you want to save some money, you can definitely try LegalZoom. Just be very careful with how you do it. And my name is Joseph Warren. I make daily videos about personal finance, public speaking, and personal development, and adios.